it's Nick here with Nick's 80s hard rock CD album review. Hope everyone's doing well. The album we're going to look at today is by a band called Wasp. Now, Wasp, I don't think I've done a review on Wasp, but, I could be wrong. Anyway, Wasp were a band from LA and they formed in 1982. So they've been around for a long time, pretty much around the same time as when Motley Crue formed. Now, Wasp were part of the hair metal glam rock scene, you know, the likes of Motley Crue and all that, Poison. But Wasp were a bit different. That they were also classed as what's called shock rock. Now, shock rock is in regards to their live shows. There's a lot of theatrics going on. Just a lot of theatrical stuff. Sort of horror movie type stuff going on their shows. It's very similar to what Alice Cooper, legendary singer Alice Cooper, what he used to do back in the day, and he still does actually. And also to, back in the 90s, late 90s or 2000, Marilyn Manson, what he was doing as well. So it's all that shock hard rock scene. But they did very well. Their first 2-3 albums, did really well, and they've sold over 12 million albums worldwide. But so that's a little bit of background about Wasp. But what we're going to look at today is their 13th album. It's called Dominator, and it was released in 2007. Now there's a picture of lead singer Blackie Lawless. Now he's lead vocalist, plays rhythm guitar, and also he does all the keyboards on this album. I'll just read the songs off this album. We've got Mercy, Long, Long Way to Go, Take Me Up, The Burning Man, Heaven's Hung in Black, Heaven's Blessed, Teacher, Heaven's Hung in Black, Reprise, and Deal with the Devil. As I said, Blackie is the lead singer on this, and he writes all the songs, composes all the songs. Now, also mentioned on lead guitar is a guy called Doug Blair. On bass is Mike Duda, and on drums is Mike Dubke, I think you pronounce it, but there's no photos of those guys. Now this, even though Wasp is an American band, this album only charted in European countries, reached number 35 on the Finland charts, number 147 on the French charts, number 72 on the German charts, number 36 on the Norwegian charts, and number 40 on the Swedish charts. And I've actually noticed that a lot of their albums, especially their later albums, only really charted in the European countries, even though they're American, so I don't know what the deal with is there. But this album actually deals with, there's a lot of, the main theme that comes through in this album is, back in the day, 2007, back during that time, it deals with the politics, the politics in America at that time, American politics, and the main issue that comes through, the main topic is at that time the Middle Eastern War, when George Bush was the president at that time. It also deals with the corruption in politics and the loss of life due to war. So they're the main issues that come through on this album. Now, I've always loved Wasp, that they just have something different about them. They've got that edge, that dangerous edge about them. I mean, compared to even more of a dangerous edge than Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses. They're always on on that cusp of something dangerous happening. And look, in regards to favourite songs of this album, the first song, Mercy, that's got a really driving, Mercy is the first song, that's a really driving, hard-edged song. And in the start of it, the guitar work actually sounds like the revving of a motorbike. It works really well, and it's a great way to start the song up, to start the album up. Also, another favourite is Take Me Up. It's just one of those songs you You can feel the emotion and the emotion in Blackie's voice, and the build up and the crescendo building up in the song. It works really well. But the standout song on this album is called Heavens Hung in Black. Now, this song is about a soldier fighting the war, and he's wounded. He's heavily wounded, and he's sort of hanging between life and death. And he's at the gates of heaven, waiting to get into the gates of heaven. But because of war and, the human casualty of war, which is so huge and devastating, that there's no more room in heaven. And so this soldier is actually left in limbo. And the emotion and the anguish and the frustration and the sadness that comes through this song is absolutely incredible. Even whilst I'm talking about it now, it gives me goosebumps, and I'm not exaggerating. As I always do, I just listened to this album before I've done this review, and this song is a masterpiece. It is full of emotion, and even the actual song title, Heavens Hung in Black, it just brings about this I can just picture it, a real gothic, haunting black scene of, where heaven is supposed to be light and all of that, but because of war and the damage that war does, there's just this dark, haunting scene. And I don't know, look, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but my God, this song is just phenomenal. It is unbelievable. And, musically, it's got fantastic, great guitar playing, full of emotion. It's got the haunting background keyboards. And the songwriting by Blackie, he's outdone himself. He is absolutely outdone himself. I cannot stress enough how his songwriting has got better and better over the years. And this song, actually, this song is the best off the album, I have to admit. The first time I heard it, I thought, my God, and every time I listen to it, just those the pictures and the images that come through of, as I've explained before, a soldier wanting to get into heaven, but there's no more room. He's stuck in limbo. It really strikes a chord, this song, and hats off to Blackie for writing such an amazing song, full of emotion and full of absolute depth. As I said before, the sadness and the frustration and the anguish that comes through on this song is just mind-boggling. Now, there's also another song called Heavens Hung in Black Reprise. Now, that's the same song, the same lyrics, but he's done it differently. It's just Blackie singing and keyboards. Still sounds great, but the actual Heavens Hung in Black song, with the drums, guitar, keyboards and all that, is out of this world. As I said, I've always been a favourite fan of Wasp, and I've got quite a few of their other albums, and I'll get to them later on. But look, songwriting, this is a really solid album. And I've actually read interviews with Blackie Lawless, and I've seen interviews with him, and he's a very switched on guy. He knows what he's talking about, and he has very strong views. And I suppose another thing in regards to his songwriting, which is really, as I said, it's really come up, it's really progressed, is that he's actually found Christianity. He went back and he sort of took a look at his life, so to speak, and put in place what's right and what's wrong and what he believes in. And it's common knowledge now that he's gone back to Christianity, and that's his faith and that's what he believes in. But he's a lot of people don't give him the credit that he deserves as a songwriter and as a musician. They still think of Wasp back in the early 80s as a shock rock band, but there is far more to this band. Well, Blackie Lawless. See, because with Wasp, they always have a constant rotation of musicians, but Blackie is the one that's been there since day one, since 1982, and still going. But yeah, there's always a different musician coming through on different albums, and yeah, so you get through you get through a lot of musicians. But look, I'd have to say, in regards to this album, a rating out of 10. Even the song Heaven's Hung in Black alone, just that song alone, I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's phenomenal. It is unbelievable. Just that song alone really pushes this album up. The other songs are great, don't get me wrong. They're typical Wasp, they're hard edged and they're driving song and gets your foot tapping and all that, big choruses, but that song alone just takes this album to a whole new level. So there we go. The album Wasp, Dominator, released in 2007. Great stuff, really good stuff. I can't rave about this band or that particular song off this album enough. So there we go.